I'll start with prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So we're reading from Canto 8, chapter number 7 today, and verse number 34 to 45. Okay, let me get there. Even personalities like Lord Brahma and other demigods cannot understand your position, for you are beyond the moving and non-moving creation. Since no one can understand you in truth, how can one offer you prayers? It's impossible. As far as we are concerned, we are creatures of Lord Brahma's creation. Under the circumstances, therefore, we cannot offer you adequate praise. But as far as our ability allows, we have expressed our feelings. Text 35. O greatest of all rulers, your actual identity is impossible for us to understand. As far as we can see, your presence brings flourishing happiness to everyone. Beyond this, no one can appreciate your activities. We can see this much and nothing more. Text 36. So Sukadeva Goswami continued. Lord Shiva is always benevolent toward all living entities. When he saw that the living entities were very much disturbed by the poison which was spreading everywhere, he was very compassionate. Thus he spoke to his eternal consort Sati as follows. Text 37. Lord Shiva said, My dear Bhavani, just see how all these living entities have been placed in danger because of the poison produced from the churning of the ocean of milk. Text 38. It is my duty to give protection and safety to all living entities struggling for existence. Certainly, it is the duty of the master to protect his suffering dependents. Text 39. People in general, being bewildered by the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are always engaged in animosity toward one another. But devotees, even at the risk of their own temporary lives, try to save them. Text 40. My dear gentle wife Bhavani, when one performs benevolent activities for others, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari is very pleased. And when the Lord is pleased, I am also pleased, along with all other living creatures. Therefore, let me drink this poison, for all the living entities may thus become happy because of me. Text 41. Srila Sukadeva Goswami continued. After informing Bhavani in this way, Lord Shiva began to drink the poison, and Bhavani, who knew perfectly well the capabilities of Lord Shiva, gave him her permission to do so. Text 42. Thereafter, Lord Shiva, who is dedicated to auspicious, benevolent work for humanity, compassionately took the whole quantity of poison in his palm and drank it. Text 43. As if in defamation, the poison born from the ocean of milk manifested its potency by marking Lord Shiva's neck with a bluish line. That line, however, is now accepted as an ornament of the Lord. Text 44. It is said that great personalities almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart. Text 45. Upon hearing of this act, everyone, including Bhavani, the daughter of Maharaj Daksha, Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and the people in general, very happily praised this deed performed by Lord Shiva, who is worshipped by demigods and who bestow benedictions upon the people. I think we're reading till 45 only today, right? Or 46 probably. Yeah, 46. Scorpions, cobras, poisonous drugs, and other animals whose bites are poisonous took the opportunity to drink whatever little poison had fallen and scattered from Lord Shiva's hand while he was drinking. Thank you, Mataji. You can take over, Mataji. Achhyuta Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much for reading and thank you for giving this opportunity. We'll start with prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvatam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalita Shri Vishakhanvatamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you everyone for joining. So this particular chapter, it's continuing with this particular section of verses. We're continuing with the glorification of Lord Shiva. So in the Samudra Manthan pastime, the first thing that came out was this halahal poison, and the demigods they approached Lord Shiva to they approached Lord Shiva so that he can help them um, with getting rid of this halal poison. So that's the prayers. These are the prayers that they're offering. Um, so they're saying that great personalities also cannot understand your position, and no one can understand you, and how can we offer you prayers? So it is impossible for us to offer prayers, and it is actually true. Like, nobody can understand Lord Shiva. Nobody can understand what his position is. It's very difficult for even the demigods to understand, and great personalities to understand the position of Lord Shiva. I was listening to one lecture, and this devotee was saying that once Lord Shiva said, once what Lord Shiva told Lord Vishnu that I want to be worshipped more than you. I want to have more name and fame, and more people should worship me more than you. So one may wonder why he would pray for such a thing, why he would ask for such a thing. But Sanatan Goswami, he explains that Lord Krishna, like, the Lord is pleased when his devotees are glorified, his devotees are worshipped, his devotees are shown respect. So with that intention, having understanding that, and with that intention, Lord Shiva, he asked for that benediction. But yeah, again, it's very difficult to understand why Lord Shiva does what he does, and it's so the devatas are also saying the same thing in this regard. And finally, they concluding their prayers saying that your actual identity is impossible for us to understand, and no, we cannot appreciate your activities, and all we can just say this much. So the inner purpose, Srila Prabhupada says, to offer these prayers to Lord Shiva is to please him, so that he can rectify the disturbing situation created by the halal poison. So when worships a demigod, one worships demigods because of, people worship demigods because of their desires to enjoy this material world. So the demigods are also praying. The devatas are also praying to Lord Shiva with that purpose, with that intention, or with that motive that we want to enjoy, we want to get our kingdom back. We want to get heavenly planets back from the demons who have conquered it, and that's why we are praying to you. So that is the intention of all the devatas. And then Shukadev Goswami mentions that Lord Shiva is always benevolent towards all living entities, and when he saw that people, these living entities are so much disturbed because of this poison that was spread everywhere. With the Samudra Manthan, this poison, it wasn't like it came out in a stream; it was just spread everywhere. Lord Shiva became very compassionate, and what he did was he accumulated all the poison in the palm of his hands, so because of his potency he could do that, and all this poison just became like this concentrated form, and it just came in his palm. And before he drank it, he basically asked Bhavani, or he basically asked his wife. He took permission from his wife. He said, just see, like, these devotees, these living beings are so much in danger, and because of this poison, so let me give them protection, let me drink it, and remove their suffering. um And then Sri Shukadev Goswami, he says that people in general being bewildered. Shukadev Goswami is mentioning that Lord Shiva is saying that people in general are bewildered by the illusory energy or Maya, and are engaged in animosity towards one another. But devotees, even at the risk of their own temporary lives, try to save them. So we see that devotees are very benevolent. They always Lord Shiva is Param Vaishnav. Lord Shiva is Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, and Vaishnavas are Paradukha Dukhi. So they are always unhappy to see the conditioned living souls are unhappy. And like we sing this every morning, Samsara Davagna. So that means Dava another. So this samsara is like a blazing fire, and everybody is suffering in this samsara, in this blazing fire. And who saves us? Like our guru parampara, our they are here to save us from this Davagna, Davanala. So similarly, so Lord Shiva is also one of the acharyas. He has his own parampara, just like we are in Brahma Madhva Gaudiya parampara. Lord Shiva also has his own parampara, that is Rudra parampara. So Lord Shiva is also saving, and his followers, they all have this parampara system, and it is they are also saving devotees from this samsara Davagna. And then he says, Lord Shiva says, my dear wife Bhavani, when one performs benevolent activities for others, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, is very pleased. And when the Lord is pleased, I am also pleased, along with all other living entities. And therefore, let me drink this poison, and so that all living beings can become happy because of me. So that is what Lord Shiva's proposition is to Bhavani, that I want to drink this so that this Lord Shiva, Lord Hari can be very pleased with me, and because actually Lord Krishna does not need anybody else to do, but Lord Krishna also wants to give credit to his devotee, so that's why he allows um, devotees to do certain things, and we'll come to that again in a bit. And then, but Lord Shukadev Goswami is continuing. He's saying that after he told Bhavani in this way, Lord Shiva drank the poison, and his wife Parvati, she knew the capabilities of Lord Shiva, and she gave him permission. And therefore, Lord Shiva, who is dedicated to auspicious, benevolent work for humanity, he very compassionately took the whole poison in the palm of his hand, and he drank it. So again, like, nobody, Prabhupada says in the purport that nobody should try to imitate Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, people try to imitate Lord Shiva by drinking ganja, by smoking, and they do all of these things. But actually, they will eventually be killed because of such activities. So, what Lord Shiva did is because out of great compassion, out of great benevolence, and that's why he's glorified. But when other people do it because for their own sense gratification, for their own sense enjoyment, then they are eventually killed because of that. Um, and then it says, what happened after he drank that poison? That poison manifested its potency by marking Lord Shiva's neck with a bluish line, and that line is now accepted as an ornament of the Lord. So this became, in this verse it says, this particular bluish his line in his on his neck, it became an ornament, it became vibhushanam, and he was glorified. That's why he's called Nilakant. And then it is said that great personalities almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everybody's heart. So, if we have to, the best welfare activity that can be done for people in general is raising people to the platform of Krishna consciousness. So, Prabhupada mentions that if one wants to be very benevolent, if one has this, wants, if one has compassion towards the living entities, then the best welfare activities is to spread Krishna consciousness to all the suffering living beings. Because all the root cause of our suffering is lack of Krishna consciousness. That is the only cause of our suffering. And when spreading this Krishna consciousness activity, spreading this mission is the best welfare activity. And because of um, uh, the ultimate benefit this bestows, on the people, like, this Krishna consciousness movement, this is the ultimate benefit. And when one is spreading this, helping with the spreading of this mission, then the Lord quickly recognizes such service performed by the devotee. So similarly, just like Lord Shiva was immediately recognized because of his benevolent act, he became known. He was glorified. Everybody started glorifying him. Including his wife Bhavani, Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, people, everybody started praising this deed, that was this amazing deed performed by Lord Shiva. And uh, he became known as Ashutosh and Neelkant. There are a few lessons that can be learned from this particular chapter. This entire chapter is on Lord Shiva's benevolence, and there are three lessons that we can learn from this chapter. I'll quickly go through the three things. First lesson is Krishna wants to give credit to his devotees. So, although like Lord Krishna, like, he in the Samudra Manthan pastime, we see that, the Lord, he came in so many different forms. He came in the form of a tortoise. He, under the Mandara mountain, um, to give stability. He came in that form, and then he came in the form of Ajita, who sat on top of the Mandara mountain. And then he infused like devotees and like the demigods and demons by going by uh, by by giving them life, by giving them energy, by giving them enthusiasm to continue the process of churning the ocean. So like that, he helped the he helped in so many different ways, and he could have done this as well. He could have, like, just taken care of the halal halal poison, but he wanted to give credit to Lord Shiva. So he wanted to give credit, and same thing we see in some of the different pastimes. We see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was asking questions to Ramananda Rai. We see that discussion in the Madhya Leela. And actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He knows everything. But to give credit to Ramananda Rai, he asks him questions. And, you know, Ramananda Rai is also saying that, oh Lord, I'm a puppet in your hands. Whatever you want me to speak, I am speaking. So like that. So Ramananda Rai says that he's being, the he's a puppet and the Lord is a puppeteer. And again in Mahabharata also we know this famous pastime about Yudhishthira's despondency. The Yudhishthira Maharaj is feeling very despondent after the war, that because of him he so many people were killed in the battle, and this entire battle happened because of him, because he wanted to be the king and stuff like that. Um, so he was very very uh, very morose. He was feeling very sad, and nobody could remove his despondency. Even Lord Krishna, when he tried to pacify him, he was not pacified. So but when Bhishma Dev, when Yudhishthir Maharaj went to Bhishma Dev, because of him, he could be pacified. So again, this is again because Krishna wanted to glorify Bhishma Dev. And then Srila Prabhupada, we always see, like, in Srila Prabhupada's life, he always, disciples, no matter uh, how much ever they tried to glorify Srila Prabhupada always, um, always credited the Guru, the Parampara, and Lord Krishna. So again, it's like a mutual thing. So Krishna is always wants to give credit to his devotees, and his devotees are always they want to give credit back to the Lord. The disciples, Srila Prabhupada's disciples told him that, you are like a cow, we are always milking you, you keep giving us. And but Srila Prabhupada says, I'm actually like an iron, actually Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj is like gold, like that, he said. And then very few times actually Srila Prabhupada revealed that he was empowered, but most of the times he was always very humble, he always gave credit to the parampara. And then he again, Srila Prabhupada also mentioned that my Guru Maharaj has sent all of you to spread this Krishna consciousness movement. Otherwise, he's not he himself is not capable of doing it on his own. So it is the nature of God to give credit to devotees, and the devotees always want to give credit back to the Lord and other devotees. And the second lesson that we can learn from this chapter is that this whatever benevolent activities devotees do, it is glorified. So like if the activity is not if it's the same activity that is not in done for like in a selfless and compassionate way, then it will actually become poisonous. It will actually not be it will actually be condemned. So there is this example, this particular pastime, right, about Lord Shiva who drank the poison and he did not die. But whereas we see something similar happened during Mohini avatar. We'll see that later in the chapter, that later in the canto, that Rahu, he took the nectar, and so even though he took the nectar, his body, his head remained and the body was dead, right? Because his nectar only could reach the throat. So the and he so Rahu also drank poison, right? So Rahu drank poison, but it actually became inauspicious for him. So he and it because he drank out of selfishness. He drank nectar out of selfishness, and even that nectar became inauspicious. But Lord Shiva, he drank poison, but that poison became auspicious. So it's like vice versa. So, we talk about Rahu Dasha. Rahu. We say that even this Rahu Dasha is very inauspicious. So Rahu, he wanted to drink poison he wanted to drink nectar to become immortal, and actually it became he died in that process. He did not become immortal, but actually because of that selfish act, he was actually he even died, and it became inauspicious for everybody. um, um, and then Srila Prabhupada actually once he was asked by um, uh, asked by somebody, like, why did you come to the Western world? And he said, asked by a businessman actually, why did you come to the West? And he said, Prabhupada actually asked him, like, why did you come here? And the businessman said, oh, I came for better prospects. And Prabhupada said, so did I. But we see that so many business people came to the West, but nobody is, because they came for their own selfish reasons, for the selfish motives. They are not glorified. They are not as glorified as Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada uh, um, is glorified all over the world, not just in the West. He is glorified all over the world, and he's remembered every single day. But no other businessman is remembered every single day and glorified like that. So, and the third lesson that we see in this chapter is the compassion of Lord Shiva, how he was willing to go through so much suffering to benefit living entities, benefit humanity at large. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the advent of Lord Chaitanya, before the advent of Lord Chaitanya, actually, there is a scene where in the house of Srivasacharya, they were all the devotees were chanting in the Srivasangan. They were in ecstasy. They were chanting and dancing, and this they were in ecstasy, and even Srivas Thakur was like, Srivas Thakur was feeling very joyful. And but suddenly this joy that Srivas Thakur felt, it led to suffering. So Srivas, so it was suddenly Srivas, I'm sorry, Advaitacharya was in the mood of distress. So he was very happy, he was very ecstatic, but suddenly he also felt very distressed. He was feeling very sad that, I am enjoying so much in this Krishna consciousness activity, this chanting and dancing. Everybody else is enjoying around here, but the whole world is suffering. And this is a classic combination of, this is a classic example of two emotions combining together. And this only Vaishnavas can experience this. So this Ananda and Dukkha, the happiness and distress that that was experienced by the Advaita Acharya. Only Vaishnavas can experience this. And Advaita Acharya was thinking how people can be delivered from this distress. So that this led to his contemplation on how to save this, how to save people, um, how to what to do that people can be saved, and that led to prayer. He prayed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead to appear, and that's how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. So same thing we see, like Srila Prabhupada also, he was sitting in Radha Damodar temple, and he was praying on about, like, how to deliver this, and this he was contemplating, and then he was praying, and that's how things revealed to them. So Srila Prabhupada, he mentioned few times that he mentioned actually one time that his he mentioned to one in one particular pastime. Prabhupada said that last night my Guru Maharaj came and told me how to write purports to Srimad Bhagavatam. So and then another time he said that Rupa Goswami, he is guiding me when to how to write purports to Srimad Bhagavatam. So the entire parampara is helping was helping Srila Prabhupada in spreading this Krishna consciousness movement. So if we also do our bit to spread this Krishna consciousness mission, to help a pure devotee, to help spread in this Krishna consciousness, and help people come and take up to Krishna consciousness, then we will also feel the bliss. We will also feel happy, the real happiness that we are all seeking in Krishna consciousness. So that's all I have to say. I'll pause it here. Sundaran Prabhu, if you have anything else, please feel free. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Madhu. It was a nice class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Hare Ram, Hare Krishna.